If you've ever wondered what it's really like to live in Huntington Beach, today I'm going to give you the real story. I've lived here for over 20 years. I raised my kids here, and our family did everything from junior lifeguards to Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts. I was volunteering in the classroom for the Art Masters program. And while there's a lot I love about Huntington Beach, if you're thinking about moving here, there are definitely a few things that might surprise you that you may not like. So while I truly love this town, today I want to share some of the drawbacks to this community. So in this video, I'm counting down the top 10 things you really need to know before moving to Huntington Beach, ending with the one thing that I dislike the most about living here, and it's probably going to surprise you. Let's jump in, starting at number 10. One of the best parts of living here is, of course, the beach. It's what Huntington Beach is known for, and honestly, it never gets old. The coastline stretches for nearly 10 miles, making it the longest uninterrupted beach in Orange County. The surf culture is vibrant, the sunsets are stunning, and there's a certain energy that comes with living by the ocean. But here's what a lot of people don't realize, especially if they've never lived on the West Coast. The water is cold. Depending on the season, the ocean temperature can dip into the 50s. I know there are a lot of people who happily dive right in, wetsuits or not, but for me, I'm more of a dip my toes and call it a day type. So if you're expecting warm tropical water like in Hawaii or parts of Florida, this might come as a bit of surprise for you. And it's not just water that's chilly. The nights here, even in the summer, can get downright cold. This isn't like the East Coast where you have hot days and warm, balmy nights. Here, the marine layer and ocean breeze cools things down fast once the sun sets. So if you're out all day, make sure to pack a jacket or sweater. You're gonna need it. And while the beaches are wide and beautiful, here's another thing most people don't know. There are no true beachfront homes in Huntington Beach. You can't step out of your back door and walk straight onto the sand. The closest you can get is owning a home across Pacific Coast Highway, which means you're still separated from the beach by a major road. It's definitely not the same as having direct private beach access like you might find in Malibu or parts of Newport Beach. For some people, that's not a big deal, but for others, especially those dreaming of that quintessential beachfront lifestyle, it can be a bit of a disappointment. That brings me to number 9. The vibe in Huntington Beach is incredibly relaxed. It's casual, it's beachy, and for a lot of people, that's exactly the appeal. But if you're coming from a place where people tend to dress up or make more of a fashion statement, it might feel a little too laid back. Even at some of the nicer restaurants, it's totally normal to see people in shorts and flip-flops. Fashion just isn't a priority here. There's very little emphasis on labels or luxury. In fact, I'd say there's almost a resistance to anything that feels flashy or pretentious. A lot of locals take pride in keeping things grounded and unpretentious. It's less about status and more about enjoying simple, down-to-earth lifestyle. Number 8 is something even locals who live near the beach love to complain about: May gray and June gloom. While the weather here is mild and pleasant, most of the year, those 2 months can be a bit of a letdown. Just when you're expecting sunny, summery mornings, the sky is often covered in a thick marine layer that settles over the coast. It usually burns off by early afternoon, but if you're dreaming of waking up to bright sunshine every day, this coastal fog can definitely catch you off guard. And as for that beautiful patio furniture, most mornings it's damp and covered in dew. Coming in at number 7 is the lack of public transportation. Huntington Beach is a car town. You need a car to get around. Sure, we have buses, but they're not super reliable or convenient. Unlike Laguna Beach, we don't have a free trolley or cute local shuttle. That said, the city is flat and really bike friendly. When my kids were younger, and this was way before there were ever e-bikes, they could ride to school, the beach, and their friends' houses on their own, which gave them a sense of independence. But still, if you don't drive, getting around can be a challenge. Now let's talk about number 6, something that's hard to miss: the power plant. It's not exactly the view most people picture when they think of coastal California. The old plant with its huge stacks is already an eyesore, but instead of just replacing it, the city built a new plant right next to it, never demolished the old power plant. So now we have two big industrial power plants sitting on prime oceanfront land. It's kind of baffling and definitely not the scenic backdrop people are hoping for when they move here. Reason number 5, the cost of living. Huntington Beach is not cheap. It's about 65% higher than the national average, and home prices are well above $1.2 million. Even renting a small one-bedroom will set you back around $2,200 a month. It's definitely not the most affordable town compared to the rest of the country, and that high price tag can be a tough pill to swallow, especially for first-time buyers. Let's move to number 4, tourism. Huntington Beach draws in millions of visitors every year, especially in the summer and around big events. The US Open, Surf City Nights, holiday weekends, you name it. It's great for business, but it can be frustrating when you're just trying to enjoy a peaceful beach day or stroll down Main Street without the crowds. Parking becomes nearly impossible. Restaurants fill up fast, and downtown can feel overwhelmingly packed. It really changes the energy of the town, from a laid-back, tight-knit community to a packed tourist hub. And with all that foot traffic comes a bit of rowdy behavior. Like any busy beach town, it comes with the territory, and it's not that it feels unsafe, but it does mean you need to be a little more aware of your surroundings, and something to keep in mind if you're thinking of making Huntington Beach your home. Number 3 is the noise. If you're living near Main Street, the pier, or downtown, expect things to get loud, especially on weekends. Between the bar scene, live music, and the occasional fireworks show, it can sometimes feel like there's always something going on. And then in October, when the famous Pacific Air Show comes to town, the volume goes to a whole new level. The jets make wide loops from the beach over the neighborhoods, flying so low and fast that the sound literally shakes glass in your windows. I personally find it thrilling, but my poor dog would definitely disagree. So while the energy and excitement can be part of the charm, if you value peace and quiet, it's definitely something to keep in mind. Coming in at number 2 is something a lot of people don't expect when they picture beachfront living: oil rigs and pump jacks. Along Pacific Coast Highway near Bolsa Chica, there are rows of onshore pump jacks and offshore rigs that dot the horizon. These go back to Huntington Beach's oil boom days, and while they're part of the city's history, they're also a bit of an eyesore. For some, it's just part of the landscape. For others, it feels like a stain on what would be a stunning ocean view. And now we've made it to number 1, my personal pet peeve. For a city that's known for being a top-tier beach destination, Huntington Beach just hasn't invested in beautifying its neighborhoods. A lot of residential areas are lined with plain cinder block walls. Nothing decorative, just raw concrete. No lush landscaping, no cohesive design like you see in places like Irvine or Newport Coast. And the trees, honestly, they're kind of sad. My neighborhood recently got new ones last year, and they're small and underwhelming. It just doesn't have that polished, palm-lined, dreamlike look you expect when you imagine living in Southern California. It feels like a missed opportunity, especially for a city with this much potential. And considering how high our property taxes are, it's frustrating that more hasn't been done to elevate the look and feel of the community. So there you have it. Huntington Beach is a wonderful place in so many ways, but like anywhere, it isn't perfect and comes with its trade-offs. Like I said, I'm not here to sell you on the postcard version of Surf City. I'm here to share a real insider perspective from someone who actually has lived here for decades. And honestly, at the end of the day, I do truly love it here. It suits me, and it's exactly the kind of environment I wanted to raise my kids in. But I also know it's not the right fit for everyone, and that's perfectly okay. So with all of this in mind, would you still consider moving to Huntington Beach? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and whether you're thinking about moving here, planning a visit, or just daydreaming from afar. As a local real estate agent and longtime resident, I love sharing the kind of perspective that only comes from truly living in and being part of this community. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or simply exploring what life could look like along the coast, I'd love the opportunity to guide you through the process with a personalized strategy designed to help you make your next move with confidence. Let's connect soon. Until next time, I'm Mercedes Shaffer, bringing you the best in the OC.